Good morning. We're going to be starting off today going a little bit of a trip into the Wayback Machine because someone is getting sick and tired of hearing about George Stephanopoulos being a journalist, because he's not. He's as much of a journalist as I am an astronaut, and we're just going to go into that very briefly. Appreciate you coming by this morning. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe, and let's get started here. Stephanopoulos. Weasley little twit, George Stephanopoulos. I have had to listen to numerous videos this morning, last night, about what kind of journalist he is. What kind of journalist George Stephanopoulos is. George Stephanopoulos is a political hack of the first order. He is not a journalist. A journalist is somebody who takes information and disseminates both sides of a story, out of fairness. Not Steffi. That's not Steffi at all. One of the most frustrating things is just looking this up. As somebody who's old enough to know who George Stephanopoulos is, just looking this up, when I typed his name into Google, it came up as American journalist. Stephanopoulos is no journalist. He's a political hack. He was Bill Clinton's communications director from 1992 to 1996 and was involved in his campaign. Worked as communication director and senior advisor for President Bill Clinton during his first term. Helped shape Clinton's public message during key moments, including the 1992 campaign. He left in 1996. Where did he go in 1996? Well, he transitioned into journalism by joining NBC News, ABC News. ABC, who gives a crap? They're the same bloody thing. Now, this is in the news because ABC Disney has had now to pay $15 million to Trump because they defamed him. Of course they defamed him. You have Democrat hacks who are on here defaming him. And what did he defame him about? Well, we're just going to run a brief clip, and then we're going to go through a little bit of Billy Boy's history. Schmuck.
I'm asking you a question about why you endorse someone who's been found liable for rape.
It was not a criminal court. It was a
civil court.
It was a civil court. And by the way, she joked about the judgment and what she was going to do with all that money, and I find that offensive.
She did immediately joke about what she was going to do with that money. Hi, Megan. That's not exactly a great picture of Megyn Kelly. She's a beautiful woman, and that's horrible. But let's look a little bit at, because Steffi, he seemed so offended by that, didn't he? I mean, Steffi gets offended by things like that. Certainly not things like in 1996, James Carville was asked what he thought about Paula Jones' claims of being sexually assaulted by Bill Clinton. One of many, many allegations against Bill Clinton of SA. He said, drag a $100 bill through a trailer park and you never know what you're going to find. The liberal press didn't respond much to Carville's comment. Of course they didn't respond much to Carville's comment. You know why? Because they loved Bill. They absolutely loved Bill. I was talking to a friend last night, and we were discussing how back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, even into the first part of the 90s, we had made so much racial progress in this country. We were able to joke about each other and not even be offended. Can you imagine that today? Making jokes about another race and them not being offended, finding it humorous, and then having a humorous retort for you? We had made so much progress. So much progress. But we were discussing, where is it that things turned? Where is it that they turned from we're making progress now to where we are today with this absolute garbage? And I think this son of a bitch, Bill Clinton, is at the heart of it. It's not his fault directly, but the media excusing. And people like George Stephanopoulos, and I'm going to keep calling him Steffi. God bless Rush Limbaugh. I'm going to keep calling him Steffi because he is a little puke. He is a little puke. He gets up here and he pretends that he is just, I'm offended. How could you possibly say that? This son of a bitch had no problem when James Carville was going out there and saying things like he did about $100 bill dragging through a trailer park and you never know what you're going to find. Juanita Broderick, Paula Jones, numerous allegations. And this twisted son of a bitch thinks that, oh, Trump is so bad. You defended a serial rapist. A serial rapist. Whose name was on the list and went to the island. Hey, George, I have a question for you. If we were to look at a certain list, would we find your name on it? I kind of think we would. You don't get into the position you are and stay where you are, being a lying sack that you are, by not having dirt on somebody. Let's say the knowledge of a certain list. You know, obviously you ain't going to no Diddy Party, baby, because you ain't hip. But I bet you knew about him. I'll bet you knew about him. I'll bet your friend Jeff knew all about your friend P. Diddy. And I bet P. Diddy knew all about your friend Jeff. Because they all associated with your friend Bill. George, you're a son of a bitch. That's not alleged. You are a son of a bitch. And I'm sick and tired of looking at the media and hearing people in the media call you a journalist. You're a political hack of the first order. I am old enough to remember who you are. I know who you are. I know what you did, and I know who you did it with. I'm sick and tired of hearing that this man is a journalist. He's as much of a journalist as I am an astronaut. And I ain't never been to no space. This one really kind of got under my skin. He's no journalist. He shouldn't be on television being treated as an impartial journalist. He is a political hack. He's been a hack his entire life. He worked with Bill Clinton. He worked with Hillary Clinton in 2016 as he was appearing on TV pretending to be a freaking journalist. This guy should be fired. He should be fired. Disney, you own ABC. You've already gone down this path. I have plenty I could say about Disney. Plenty I could say about Disney. And this is somebody who loved the Disney company. Disney, you kept this hack in business for decades. Decades. We are now going almost on to 30 years you've had this son of a bitch on your payroll, just lying, creating as much propaganda as you can. He's a hack. He's no journalist. He's never been a journalist. He should not be treated as a journalist. And when people go and interview this, when they get an interview by him, they should remind him, I know who you are. And I know what you did. So open your mouth very carefully, Steffi. That's all I got, guys. I'm a little fired up. This pisses me off. But you know what? I thank all of you, and I do appreciate all of you. Stay sour.